I've used a variety of different assessments. Some of my classes do require, in my opinion, more traditional types of assessments, paper and pencil assessments. In many other cases, I use a variety of different assessments, but some of my undergrad classes certainly have had multiple choice type tests with short answers, because I feel that there is some information that students just need to have kind of walking around knowledge. The first thing I try to do is minimize the pressure of those assessments. So in other words, I think it becomes problematic if those are so high stakes. Like if you have one or two high stake exams where if you blow this exam, it's over for you in the class. I think you're going to see higher instances of cheating, or the temptation to cheat might be greater for students. So I try to minimize the threat to their survival in the class of those types of exams by having a multitude of different assessment points. So at most, an exam might be worth 15, maybe 20% of their grade, but usually 15%. So even if they completely botch it, they could still feasibly pass the course. So that's one thing. The other thing that I try to do is I try to provide the blueprint of my exam as we go through all the courses, all the different lectures. So by the time we're at an exam point, if we've gone through 5 weeks, when I do an exam-based course, I will actually hand out a little overview of each lecture where they need to fill in information and so on. So by the end of 5 weeks, they will have essentially a blueprint of the themes that we're going to be covering. And what I think is incredibly important is that we don't assess them on things we haven't taught them, right? And so even if there's readings that are outside of class, I think that students need to be aware of what they're being held responsible for. So there shouldn't be any surprises on the exam, in other words. It's not that I give the questions away, but I basically then take and create a study sheet based on all the lectures that we've had and say, here are the key themes that you're going to be held responsible for on this exam. And that literally is the blueprint by which I develop my exam. So I'll take a theme and write questions based on those different themes. And it will actually follow that order, and it's the order that unfolded in the class. So again, no surprises, and students kind of appreciate that this is what we covered in week 1, and their questions are going to be based on these things. If it's not on the review sheet, it's not going to be on the exam. And so I give that review sheet well in advance. I encourage them to study together, and then I hold a review session where I have them come in and walk through that review sheet, and that's where we do the thumbs up, thumbs down section. And I can get a quick sense on like week 2, information from week 2, what's your level of comfort. If everyone's comfortable with that, then we'll move on to a place where they're not. And so I'll try to clarify. And so again, eliminating surprises, and also letting students feel comfortable that this isn't going to be a big deal, that they feel confident taking this exam, and then taking care of student accommodations. So students who have special learning needs are going to require test accommodations. There are also some students who might not have documented disabilities, but who just know themselves, and they are worried about distractions and so on. And so I might have a GTF and have a smaller room available where 20 students can break off and take the test in a larger room where there's not so much crowding, and then there's not so many potentials for distraction. And then the other thing I talk about is it's just not worth it for them to cheat.